Good afternoon, everybody. It's David Promoter from Quantum Listing, and we are doing this webinar for the first time from our brand new office in Ridgefield, Connecticut. So very exciting for me to be here doing this. And thank you for giving us some of your time today. And hopefully, today's presentation isn't particularly formal. So if you want to ask questions in the chat box or unmute yourself, these are always a lot more fun, for me at least, when they're more interactive. So I really do encourage your participation. So let's get going. Today's webinar topic is Intro to Quantum Listing. I know that some of you have been longtime users and some newer, maybe not even registered members yet. And hopefully we can show you where we're at. Because I've been moving into this new office and we also moved our home to the same location, there's a cottage where the office is, and I guess the main house is where we're living. So we were packing up our old house and bringing all the stuff here. And I'm going to confess that I'm a bit of a pack rat, and I have a lot of memories associated with old stuff. And I don't know whether you can relate to that or not, but behind me is a bookcase filled with records, CDs, cassettes, a camera, a film camera my father gave me when I was like 12, so that was 45 years ago, and some reel-to-reel tapes. So I was driving around today and I was really thinking about this stuff and what it means to me. And one of the things that I realized is that this is all sort of legacy, quasi-obsolete technology that I have these warm feelings for, and it kind of reminded me a little bit of how some people feel about the old technology that they've been using for their commercial real estate practice. Uh, you know, the CDs, reel-to-reel tapes, cassettes, and albums have all been basically replaced by streaming services. I don't even have a record player, reel-to-reel tape deck, or cassette player, and the only CD player that works in my house is the one in our 11-year-old Prius. Um, so, and yet I hang on to them, and I think people are always loath to give up things that they're used to, and but there are things that come along that are better and more efficient and more cost effective. I like to think of quantum listing as one of those things. And I hope if you don't already that you will come to feel that way. Let's get started. So today's agenda is we're going to do a quick overview of quantum listing, covering how the on-demand economy fits into our service. We're going to talk about the different lead generating capacities of quantum listing, our collaboration with other types of real estate tech services, and the different opportunities that we give you for networking. Then hopefully that won't take too long and we'll get to spend a bunch of time on the website itself. Often we'll do these with just slide decks, but I'm feeling like a risk taker today, and we're going to do a live demo. And then Q&A, although as I said, I do encourage you to ask questions throughout today's webinar. And then we'll finish up telling you about some of our upcoming webinars and how to get in touch with us with your questions. So we like to say that our value proposition is that quantum listing gives your listings maximum exposure by offering a range of features so you can market your properties without breaking your budget. You can post an unlimited number of listings with the ability to market them seamlessly on all forms of popular social media. And even better, there's no paywall for potential buyers or tenants to view your properties on our site. So anybody with an internet connection can see your stuff. A lot of our visitors, probably more than half, come to us through web searches. Uh, so, it's nice that they're not frustrated when they get here to find out that they need to be a subscriber to our service or any other service to get the information that they want to find. Let's keep going. So if you're new to Quantum Listing is a nationwide crowdsourced commercial real estate listing service. That crowdsourced here means that we rely on you to add the listings, and you can do that manually, or you can do it through one of our syndication partners like Build Out or Sharp Launch, and soon to be the CRE Collaborative as well. If you don't have any of those other services and you don't really feel comfortable adding the listings yourself, you can subscribe to our white glove service and we'll take care of that for you. We covered that we're searchable by anyone, but always a good thing to keep in mind when you're considering what services to use. All new members get a trial premium membership, after which annual membership is $89.99 a year, not a month, a year, for unlimited listings. And we have brokers, we have owners that are posting listings, so it really is quite a good deal. Members can use our service to serve their listings to their website or blog, and that is at no additional cost. So it's included in that $89.99 per year. All registered members are given a network based on their geographic area, as well as a group to which they can post their commercial real estate wants, and we'll show you some of that in a bit. Quantum Listing shares your listings to its social media feeds on Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook. Twitter will go out as soon as you add your listing, and LinkedIn and Facebook are put in a queue because those services have a more limited number of posts that you can make in a day. Premium members can also access real-time analytics so that they can see how many views their listings are getting, how many views their profiles have gotten, if their listings are being shared, and more. Your membership does have to be current for you to see those analytics, so another incentive for you to keep your membership current. I know I didn't mention that I've been a broker or a salesperson and broker since 1986, and I certainly know that the landlords that I work for like to know what kind of action their listings are getting. So that's good info to have for when you're giving reports to your principals. We have free mobile apps for iOS and Android. Just go to the App Store or Google Play Store to get those. One of the things that sort of characterizes my feelings about commercial real estate technology was really informed by my brokerage practice, and that commercial real estate is a collegial business. Yes, it is competitive. We all want to be the one to get that great listing or that big tenant, but it is a collegial thing. Nobody does a deal entirely by themselves. Everything is done with other folks. So make sure you keep that in mind when you think about how we feel about our competitors in the commercial real estate tech space. We really like working with them and collaborating with them, and we have a growing list of wonderful partnerships with other commercial real estate tech companies. In fact, we're going to feature them in on April 1st in another webinar. So we've got StackSource, which is a online financing platform, Build Out, and Sharp Launch, which are marketing platforms. Levitt Digital has a network of 500 plus commercial real estate, 500 plus uh, local news sites that you can push out your listings to. And CRE Collaborative, which is a new partner of ours, and they're going to provide data enhancement. So information that you might find on like Property Shark or CoStar or Lumina maybe will be available through CRE Collaborative on our site, where they're providing block and lot numbers and different more detailed information than you or I would normally have at our fingertips. So that's good. We don't lock you into an annual contract that auto renews if you forget to cancel it. We have a new lead capture service that you can subscribe to. We'll cover that. You can use Quantum Listing to blast your listings to your proprietary email distribution list by uploading an Excel file. We don't then turn around and grab all your contacts from you. We try to be very ethical in everything we do. And we just introduced a new suite of on-demand advertising features that you can sort of pick and choose from, sort of like a la carte menu, so that if you want your listings to get more exposure, you can choose how and when and how much you want to spend on those. So we think that's those are some fairly innovative things, and we'll be covering all that good stuff during the course of our webinar. On-demand advertising is that last thing we were talking about. So there are three different types that we are currently offering. First is listing promotion, and this is great if you want your listings to appear at the top of searches in your market. And we'll cover the cost of all these things soon, but they're fairly nominal. Brand promotion gives you the ability to promote your personal brand or your company brand on our site in your market. And I think it's generally within like a 20-mile radius of this location that you specify. And then we have a really cool new feature called that's online advertising through the Google Display Network. And we'll have a look at that also. Here is brand promotion. Anyway, we got brand promotion and listing promotion. I was out on the road all day today, so the slide deck is kind of new and for me. But so what you're seeing here is that first image where it says you can do anything but not everything, we can help. That's a brand promotion ad by Becca Carlson from Carlson Integrated, which is a marketing firm that helps you out with websites, print, design, social media, e-blast. They're going to be, Becca will be with us in a few weeks on a webinar, so stay tuned. And then right next to it, you can see that Becca, who's also a broker in addition to having the marketing company, has promoted one of her listings. So that showed up at the top of her search in I think Chicago or St. Charles, Illinois. So and these are two great examples. And the way that when you're on the site, if you want to know if what you're seeing is a promoted listing or brand promotion, you can see the little green outline around those listing cards or that ad to let you know that those are in fact paid promotions. So we have a couple of different ways that you can get leads on Quantum Listing. So the first one is the listing lead caption form. So, let's see, this is a listing lead form here. There's two different forms. So what happens when you are you have listings on our site? Somebody comes to your listing, they click on the listing card to go to the listing detail page, and after 15 seconds, this form pops up, and it auto-populates the address of the listing that they're looking at, and um, then it gives them the opportunity to add additional information about how much space they're looking for. It confirms the transaction type and asset class, and then they give their contact info. Um, just so you don't get frustrated, note that if you're signed in to Quantum Listing and you're looking at your own listings, you don't get the listing pop-up on your own listings. If you're not signed in, you'll get the pop-up, but not if you are signed in. All right, so let's keep going. Network email blasts are a new service we're offering. Price on this is going to vary based on the market and how many agents there are in your network. You can tell us what listing you want us to help you promote, and we'll take care of the rest for you. So we talked about $89.99 per year for unlimited listings. That's per agent too. It's not for the entire office, although if you have more than a dozen or more agents in your office, we cap that out at $999 a year per office. If you have multiple offices, we do want you to pay for each individual office. White Glove membership is sort of our version of concierge service, and that is $159.99 a year for us to add up to 20 listings and also to enhance your profile. We'll talk about profiles a little bit more when we go to the site. Listing promotion is pretty nominal. It's $2.50 a week or $7.50 per month per listing. If you've done this on LoopNet or I think CoStar, you know that it's a lot more on those services. We think this is fair and reasonable and affordable, by anybody. And we are a service and not your partner, so we don't want to gouge you. Brand promotion is $50 a month, $125 for 3 months, or $400 for the full year. Our lead capture, so we talked about the lead capture from the listings, but there's also a lead capture from the landing page. So if somebody comes to Quantum Listing, they go to the main landing page, and there's a search there which they can start, and they can, during the course of that search, try to engage somebody's help in that. If somebody in your market picks you because you've gotten lead capture, they'll fill out a form, and you'll get that form emailed to you, and you'll be able to then hopefully make a deal. Email blasts. We talked about the ones that we're doing with the networks, but I think we mentioned that you'll be able to upload, you can upload an Excel spreadsheet and email your listing to anybody in your contacts on that spreadsheet. We do try to make sure that you have lots of ways to help yourself when you've come to Quantum Listing. It's pretty intuitive and easy to use, but if you're my age, which is 57, you may not be a digital native or and know how everything works intuitively. So we have a fantastic How It Works section that has tons of articles that describe just about everything on the site. It's funny because some people think because we have so many articles, it's more complicated than it is. But we just like to make sure that if you're looking for answers, you can find them rather than get frustrated. We do believe that hands-on is a very good way to learn. Some people can learn things by reading an article and then doing it. Other people want to be have somebody looking over their shoulder, even if it's virtually. So you can schedule a demo with the schedule a demo button on the site, and depending on the length of that meeting, we can have you be the presenter with your hands on the keyboard, and we'll talk you through how to do whatever it is that you want to do that day. You can always email us. You can call us as well. We're trying to get like a really cool vanity phone number and haven't been able to find the right one yet, but we do have a phone number on our website in the contact us section. We do have these weekly webinars. We've got an incredible lineup that goes through at least the end of April. So we'll talk about those a little later. We do weekly blog posts. They could be anything about new features on our site, maybe about one of our new partners. We also have a great series which I encourage you to have a look at and maybe even consider being the subject of. And that's the Quantum Lister Profile series. And that gives you the opportunity to fill out a questionnaire that we provide you with and tell the world a little bit about yourself. We also do ask you to give us some input on how you use quantum listing. So it's not 100% altruistic, but it's 75%. So please, if you'd like to be a quantum lister, check that out. This week we did one with Michael Hoffman from Tessier Associates in North Carolina. He did a nice job on that. Occasionally we'll send out user surveys and try to get your feedback on that. If you do get one of those, please fill it out. It gives us good ideas for new features to include in the service, and also what we can be doing better. Because if it doesn't work for you, it's maybe not working for somebody else. So we really do love getting that. Let's come back to the webinar schedule and go to the website here. All right, so here is the landing page that people come to when they first get Quantum Listing. Look for some changes coming to this in the next month or so. But people can start a search right here. And no listings in Ridgefield, but we do have the Promoter Properties brand promotion there. And then here's where somebody can start a search request and get help from a professional with this. And this will create, if you're just doing a search request, it'll create a search. You'll get weekly updates on listings that meet your criteria. And if you check the box that says this information may be shared with a professional, so that they can contact me to assist in my search, then you'll get that email if it's for your market and you're paying that $10 a month for that service. So let's keep going. I guess we're on the website now. So let's go back to Quantum Listing. Here's that home page, the landing page, and I'm going to log in. If you haven't joined Quantum Listing yet, you do that through here. Let's have a look at that. So you can see it's a fairly simple form to sign up. You can sign up with social media, or you can add your information. Here, I'm going to do a test right here. Bear with me.
While you're typing, David, I wrote in the chat box, but if anyone has any questions, like David said, this is a pretty little bit less on the formal side, so feel free to jump in unmute yourself or type in the chat box, and we're happy to help you out.
Okay. And then you choose the account type. So yeah, there are three options here. A basic account is for somebody who's just a searcher of listings, somebody who does not have their own listings or doesn't want to add listings to Quantum Listing. Individual account is if you're a solo practitioner, or even if you work in a larger company and your company doesn't want to sign up for the service, just you. And enterprise accounts are for your office. This way, if you have a marketing person or somebody who is in charge of adding listings and managing those listings, they can have a single sign-in. They can add the different agents and all the listings. The admin can also, in addition to adding agents, add managers who can help with that workflow as well. We do have a don't forget to check, which I just forgot. I've read and accept the terms and conditions. And then you click create your account. And you are then brought to the payment and marketing center, and you want to create an order. And so this will start your trial membership. You pay through PayPal, and you're not actually paying up front here. What you're doing is you're starting a trial. You can cancel that trial anytime during the first 30 days. And we hope you stay with us. And so let's go to my own account for my brokerage company. Just make sure I got the right password in here. All right, so when you do sign in, you're brought to your profile page, and that's what this is here. And the profile page is your home base here on Quantum Listing. And this is where you're going to start adding your listings if you're not using Sharp Launch or Build Out, or in the future CRE Collaborative, to get your listings to us. And the first thing you should do when you get to your profile page, in my opinion, is enhance your profile. So what do we mean by enhancing your profile? It's adding your a profile picture or logo, or both. If you're enterprise, you can do both, I believe. And then you can add a bio, and you can copy and paste what's on your company website if you want. We also encourage you to add your social media links, which you can see ours right here. And this last icon here is a very handy tool, and I hope everybody, once they enhance their profile, will take advantage of it. And that is a sharing icon. And we'll see this when we get to individual listings as well. And then, so you can share your profile to an individual or several people by putting commas in between each email address, and you can either send an invitation to have them see your profile, or invite them to join Quantum Listing if you're a believer and an evangelist for us. And we hope that will be the case. Add a little message, say add your subject, add your message, and then click send. And this is a great way for people to see all of your listings at once, and then you're sending out to whomever you want. You can share it via LinkedIn, which I think is an awesome thing to do, because, and you can also do, again, this with individual listings. So let's share Perimeter Properties in a post. You can also do it as a private message. And here I'll have a look at our current listings. And okay, and once we do that, click post. You can do it more elaborate. We're just trying to be efficient here. And here's what it looks like on LinkedIn. And so there's the message. There's the link, and they come back, and it brings us to our profile page. So you saw that took 10 seconds, 15 seconds. You can again add something a little more detailed and elaborate than what I did for the sake of time. But and you can also do that with Twitter and Facebook. So the reason why I think that you need to add, or you ought to add as much to your profile as you can, is that a lot of times people search for you on the internet. So they'll say, Judith Bennett, real estate, and your profile is going to show up on that first page of Google searches very often. And if they click on it, they come to your quantum listing profile. You want it to be as well-rounded and three-dimensional and informative as possible so that you can possibly be engaged by that person to do a deal. So again, take the 5 or 10 minutes that it takes to enhance your profile. If you need help with it, here's that schedule a demo button I mentioned before. You can see there are different options here. We don't hold you to 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, or 60 minutes typically, unless there's back-to-back demos. But it's a great way. And the longer ones are the ones that we typically will try to make you the presenter if you feel comfortable in that role and talk you through that. So you can see all your contact information is right here, visible when people do land on your profile page. Here's a invite a friend link, which we hope you'll do, as we mentioned. And then this left-hand, this is what we call the left-hand sidebar, and this has lots of different options for you to explore different parts of quantum listing. So listings, the obvious one is add your listing. So if listings is clicked here, and then you click the add listing button up here, you'll get this page. You can drag and drop pictures and PDFs here or browse your computer for them. If you have to give a listing title, I think the title has to be 60 characters or less. You choose the transaction type, the asset type. You can now also add a secondary asset type. We just added that. It was a long time coming, but finally got there. Uh-oh, hold on a second. Gotta put my phone on Do Not Disturb. And this is a spam call. Recognize that number. Sorry about that. All right, we're on Do Not Disturb. Let me go back. All right. So secondary asset type, rent. If you don't want to specify, this is if it's transaction type. If you go to sale, you can see that rent changes to price, and for sale and lease ones, it gives you options to add both. If you leave it as 0, when people are looking at the listing, it shows up as inquire. So for those who don't want to add the price or the rent, that's fine. Square feet available, same thing. If you have to put in 0 or a number. If it does show, if you do add it as 0, it shows up as inquire. You click the calendar thing, and the date will populate. There are the ones with the asterisks. Although then the other thing that you need to add is the location. The only trick here is once you start typing and you see the address, you have to click on the address, and then it will geocode here. And this is how people, this is what makes it effective in searching for properties. So make sure you do that. We don't get a lot of problems when people are adding listings, but I would say, maybe, 1 in 2,000 listings added or edited, we'll get somebody calling about it. And I'd say, 60% of the time it's because they forgot to click on the address here. So uh, now you don't have to be that guy. Um, so additional parameters, you can add a URL, which would link back to your website or whatever else you choose. You can add information about parking or the number of offices, bathrooms, floors. This is one that is near and dear to me, EV charging. I have a Chevrolet Bolt electric vehicle, so that's why I wanted this one there. Uh, and then you can add information about individual spaces, commission split if you want, and also add a YouTube or Vimeo link if you've got video. And then add a nice description here. And again, you want to take a little bit of time and do this right, because the more information you have here, the more that there's going to be for Google to index. So don't write, prime space on a great corner. Let people know what's really going on there. If you have an enterprise account and there are multiple agents on a particular uh, listing, you can select multiple agents to be part of that listing like that. So that's really all there is to it. If you're adding listings, manually, once you've done it once or twice, it takes maybe 5 minutes or possibly even less, especially if you can cut and paste the description from something else, like your listing flyer. So it really is very, very simple. We were born as a iOS app, and we wanted to make adding listings really simple on the app. And when we decided to do the full website, uh, that was kind of hard coded into our DNA to make it really easy. All right, so next in the listing submenu is listing archives. So after you have sold or leased one of your listings, or if it has expired and not been renewed, you don't necessarily have to delete it. In fact, we recommend that you archive it instead of deleting it. And there are a few reasons why. It's nice to have a record of the deals that you've done. It's also, if that building or space becomes available again, all you need to do is click these three little dots here and activate that listing again. So it saves you some work doing data entry. And then the third reason is, let's see if I can find one that has it. You have the ability to write private notes on any listing. So it looks like I didn't make a note on this one yet, but you can just right here. This is Pearl River sold October 2019. Then you save that, and the other things you might want to put. And you can do these private notes on anybody's listings, not your own. So you can make a note saying, hey, check with uh, Stephen to make sure it's still available. I have to say though, because so many of our listings come through our syndication partners, uh, you're going to find that the information on our site is generally fresher than on a lot of the other sites, because uh, anytime somebody updates anything on build out, it gets updated on Quantum Listing in real time. Sharp Launch, they do an update once a week, so it's still pretty fresh data that you're going to be getting when you come here. The ones that are the slowest to do it are the ones who are entering it manually. It's unfortunate, and I don't really know that there's anything in particular that we can do about that. So let's go back to the profile page. And when you want to see those private notes, you can just click on that listing or go to the info section, which we'll explore in a little more detail in a minute. Well, a few minutes. The listing archives, that saved listings, if you're going through Quantum Listing and you see something that intrigues you, you can click this little ribbon icon here on the top of the listing card. And if you've clicked through to that listing, you can also do it within the listing itself. And then you're going to go back when you want to see that saved listing. You'll see it here in the saved listing section. Online advertisement we'll come back to, but this will show you, this is another way that you can do the ads through the Google Display Network. And we'll do one live in a little bit, I think, if we have enough time. So that covers all the items in the listings submenu. Enterprise, since I have multiple agents at my brokerage Perlmutter Properties, we have, you can click here and see all the different agents. And if you click on any individual agent, you can see which listings they are involved with. We sold this one, I better update it. So hang on. All right, let's go back to, oh, here we are, sorry. All right, enterprise. And then managers, I don't have a marketing person on staff. I'm very hands-on with the stuff, so I like adding the listings and all that stuff. So, but if you wanted to add a manager, you would make sure managers is highlighted here, and then we're missing a button, I think. Hang on. All right. So, but there should be a little button where you can add a manager there. So, Julia, make a note of that, please. So then the next item on networks is My Networks. And networks, when you join Quantum Listing, within like the first day or so of your joining, we will add you to a network. And networks are based on where you operate. So if we see that you have listings, we'll add you to, say you're in the Georgia network, you're based in Georgia. We'll add you to the Georgia network. And then when you are part of that network, and we'll look at one of my networks here, so the Westchester network, so you can see the listings from all the people in your network. And you know, sometimes like Brian Donovan here, he's actually an upstate New York guy, but he does deals in Westchester County, so that's why he's part of this Westchester network. You can click here and see who else is in your network. So, and then if you click on their name, you'll go to their listings. One thing that you can do, if you click on the little icon where at the top left here, and if your membership has lapsed, that icon isn't available. Anyway, you can follow, or in this case, I'm unfollowing, then I'm refollowing Angela. And this way you can find their listings in addition to in the network. So you don't want to plow through all the network listings to find Angela's stuff. One way you can find it is in the social section, which we will get to in a bit. So keep that in mind. So networks, so you can see which networks you're in. If you so if you don't have listings and your cell phone doesn't reflect where you're actually doing business anywhere, or whatever phone number you put in there, we generally will guess what network you're in by your area code of your phone. If we get it wrong, or you just want to join additional networks, you click the connect button here, next to the network you want. The network admin gets an email saying that you want to join, and when they see it and have a moment, they will add you to that network. The other nice thing about a network is you can see all the listings of your fellow network members, and you can drill down by individual networks. I'm a member, as you can see, of multiple networks. So if we just want to see New Jersey network listings, you would select that. And then, of course, you can filter further by location, asset trade type, asset or trade types, and you can sort by size and price as well. And network news is another nifty little feature that helps you stay informed on what is happening in your market. Here you can see, that somebody, this guy edited listings there, and here a listing was deleted. That was probably a test listing, because generally I archive my listings, I don't delete them. Here I created a listing. We'll talk about publishing and unpublishing. Actually, let's go for that next. I could have covered that. If you are adding a listing and you're not ready for it to go live, one of the things that you can do is unpublish it. As you click through to your listing and then edit it, you can unpublish it here, and you can also, when you're editing a listing, uncheck the box here that says publish. One thing that you should do if you are willing to co-broke, I recommend you check this little co-broke button there. A little silhouette of a couple of people shows up at the top of the listing card, and it just signals that you're willing to work with your colleagues on this. And then the other important box to make sure is checked if you're manually adding your listings is that you have the rights to all the images and information that you've added to Quantum Listing. If you don't add that, your listing is not going to be visible to anybody but you. The way that you'll know if a listing has not been published is, I'll tell you what, I'm going to unpublish this one right here, since I do need to archive it. And what happens is you can see that this little padlock appeared. So that's what happens there. I'm going to take a short break before we continue, and ask once again if anybody has any questions about what I've covered so far. Put them in the chat box, and in the meantime, while we're waiting for those questions, if you have them, we'll keep going. So we covered networks. Groups are similar to networks. They're geographically based, but they can also be asset class based. So we've set up groups for just about every asset class. Groups have features that networks don't have. Some of the features that are similar, like the group feed, will show you. Well, again, I'm a member of many groups, so let's pick the Florida Wants group. You'll see what happened there. Anyway, you'll see in the feed all the different recent activities there. You can add a chat, a group chat. So say you're looking for a space in a particular market and it's not, you're not having any success, you can crowdsource your search by posting your commercial real estate wants to your group. At the end of the day, they'll get an email saying that there is a chat waiting for them, a message. You can also do peer-to-peer chats if you don't want to chat with a whole group of people. And when you're on somebody's profile page, look for the little speech bubble up near the top by their picture or logo. You can see who all your group members are. And again, you can drill down by particular group. And the let's see. Oh, and then you can also, again, as I said, see the group listings. Social, remember when we clicked on Angela Briante's follow and unfollow buttons? So you can see here who's following you, and you can follow anybody that you'd like to follow as well. And then in the stream, you're going to see the people who you're following, the listings of the people that you're following. Info is a great section and a lot of good resources here. In addition to the notes that we talked about before, analytics are available here. And we've provided a variety of different analytics for you. So you can see the number of the default here is to see all of your listing views over the previous 7 days. You can also go to month or all time. And you can also drill down by specific listing. So the anomaly here is that for a while we had it set so that only registered people, logged in and registered people's views were counting, and then we realized that that was a mistake for a lot of reasons. So that's why there's this sort of hiatus here. Account views shows how many times your profile has been seen. Agent views, fairly self-explanatory. Profile shares, these are the number of times that people have clicked on that button that I pointed out earlier and shared your profile. Listing shares as well, how many times your listings have been shared. PDF exports and PDF downloads. PDF exports are the PDFs that Quantum Listing creates for you, and downloads are the listings that you uploaded yourself. I see we have a question from Judith, which is when a prospect enters their contact information to request additional information, where does that request go? What is the process and time frame to get the request to the lister? So it goes, you'll get an email with it, and that goes out right away. And you're also going to be able to find it in the info section on your profile page. Answer those questions. Promoted listings, there are metrics for the number of views and clicks. Yeah, I guess, so you can see that we've gotten a lot of views on those, and hopefully if you get enough views, you'll get some clicks. This is in a week, and all time, you can see that over time people do click on those. Like if you've been doing commercial real estate long enough, you know it's a numbers game, and things don't happen when you want them to necessarily. They often happen at your customers or at your customers' discretion and their time frame. So leads, Judith, you are going to find here in that info section. And if you want to, let's go right now while we still have a little bit of time. Great question, though, by the way, and thank you for that. Let's talk about the marketing center. So if you click on this green dot here, you're going to get promote your listings. So again, these are all really things that are super easy for you to implement. So if you wanted to promote one of your listings, you choose the listing. I don't know why that one came up. And so I pick that. I'd click create order. It brings you to PayPal to complete the transaction. So we don't collect any, we do not possess any of your credit card or payment information, just so you know. and where were info? So that was leads and orders. Oh, we're back. Oh, sorry. Here we go. Promote your brand. So, and this you may want to reach out to us to help you with the first time you do it, to help with the artwork. Uh, the option, you have three different options: a month, 3 months, or a year. The longer you go, the less it is per month, obviously. The artwork needs to be 500 pixels wide or in 600 high, or any sort of aspect ratio that's 5:6. You drag, and that information is right here. You drag and drop it. If you or your marketing person doesn't know how to create that artwork, we're very happy to help you with it. You add that artwork, so it's really just one image, and then you enter the market where you want it to appear. You confirm that the plan that you want is the right one, and then you hit create order, and it takes you to PayPal to finish the transaction. And then the last uh, last promotional option we have is advertising through the Google Display Network. And uh, Google Display Network there are two types of ads on Google. There's Google search ads, which you say when you're typing, Google search, those are the all text ads. And then the Google Display Network are the ads that you see on websites, either at the side or the top or the bottom, when you're doing stuff on the web. Uh, these ads are going to show within I think a 5 mile radius. I may be off about that, of where the listing is. So it's local and relevant people that are seeing it. Why did we choose the Google Display Network instead of Google Search? Uh, and the answer is it saves you a lot of money. Commercial real estate, the search ads for commercial real estate vary in price from market to market, but they're way more expensive than uh, the display ads. And for $25 on the display network, you're going to get 10 to 20,000 or more views, and probably 10 clicks or more. And in a search ad, you might get one or two clicks, depending on your market. New York City or San Francisco, or the big cities are going to cost more. Small towns cost less. Google does this through a public bid process. Um, so we have no control over the cost of those. And in the display network, the pricing varies also, but you get a lot more bang for your buck on the display ads. So the only difference between the $25, $50, and $100 plans per listing is how many times that ad is going to be shown. It's not going to make any difference as to where it's being shown. It's really just the duration of it. And we do cap uh, the uh, spend per day. So it's not your your ad budget won't be blown in a single day. So when you're picking what ad you want, what listing you want to promote, you just start uh, typing it in. You select it, so the little green radio button is lit up. You want to make sure you add the area where you want to have it displayed, and you type that in and select it from the drop-down menu. If you want to get an alert when the ad is about to expire, click send a renewal alert, and then you click create order, and it is going to take you to PayPal where you finish the transaction. And a couple of caveats about display when you're placing these ads. Uh, when you the order is done right away and it's processed right away, but Google, believe it or not, actually approves every single ad, and it can take anywhere between 24 hours to up to 3 or 4 days for your ad to get approved by Google. And we're going to look in on that and make sure that there's nothing in your ad that would flag it, because sometimes they do disapprove an ad. We had one user who placed an ad and it was mentioned in the listing title uh, the name of a supermarket. And because when people clicked on the ad, it wouldn't go to that supermarket's website, it was disallowed by Google. Another thing that, and so we went in and we changed it, and then it got approved. Exclamation points are another no-no for Google in the title. They don't want you to have exclamation points. So it's just a waste of a character. Don't add it. It's going to just make things take long. I know it's a little after 4, and I am trying to be respectful of your time. The one last, I think we're going to, there are a few other things we could go over, but we'll pass over listing. You see this little stripe here, that's for listing reports. You can create surveys for your customers with that. If you want to renew um, your membership, click on the Payments and Marketing Center. That goes to that. And I'm going to go back to our webinar schedule, which I mentioned before. And just next Wednesday, we have Ben Pollock from Reonomy, who's going to talk about their tech, really cool stuff that you can do with that. March 18th, Becca Carlson will be with us, her return engagement, and that is going to be the whys of marketing. Her first webinar with us was the hows of marketing, and she does an incredible job of preparing. March 25th, we have our newest partner, Pradeep Reddy from LandChecks. LandChecks has a very cool technology that you'll be able to access from Quantum Listing, and it is lets you know what type of things are happening within a certain radius of your site. So where the cell towers are, where the brownfields are, and different things like that. So it can save you from making a big mistake before, or one of your clients for making a mistake, and they produce these really great reports from this. Uh, April 1st, no joke, we're having all of our different partners on the webinar with us. April 8th, Kent Fitzpatrick is going to be back with us to talk about tax strategies for real estate professionals. Sort of timely in light of the end of tax season. Brian Hennessy of Avison Young is going to be with us on April 22nd. And I'm sorry, I can't remember his topic right now.
Due diligence.
Due diligence, thank you. That's great. So it's good to have somebody who is young and remembers things on the team. And then April 29th, Andrew Bermudez. This is going to be his gazillionth time with us on the webinar. Andrew is an interesting guy, former broker. He started a real estate tech company called Digsy. They've got a CRM, they've got listings, they've got lead gen, and he is an expert on different ways to generate leads for your listings. So I encourage you to do that. And then June 24th, we've got Build Out that will be with us to talk about their awesome marketing technology. So a lot of really exciting stuff. Uh, Thank you all for staying with me for this hour. It went by fast. I can't believe it's already been an hour. So thank you for being with us. Thank you, Julia, for all your help in preparing for today. I'll stick around. I'm going to pause the recording, but I'll stick around if anybody else has questions. And thanks once again, and hope to see you real soon.